Hello and welcome to the Banker's Tech Talk video series tracking the movements in the fintech community. It's been going now for 5 years and you can see all previous episodes on thebanker.com/techtalks. I'm Joy Macknight, Managing Editor of The Banker, and I'm joined by Jouk Pleiter, who's CEO of Backbase, which is a digital omnichannel banking platform provider. Jouk, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yes, nice to be here. Thank you.
So can you tell me, what are the big challenges to incumbent banks really progressing on their digital transformation journeys?
This whole digital transformation, the biggest challenge is how do you move digital that is typically still on the side? So every bank has a digital operation, but it's not really in the core of its business. It's kind of on the side. How do we really make digital the core of the business operation? Kind of similar to platform companies like an Uber or a Netflix or an Airbnb that use state-of-the-art technology to basically orchestrate all their customer interactions and the value creation towards their customers, and kind of connecting their employees, their drivers, their support employees, and their customers in a single ecosystem that is all driven and orchestrated by a technology platform. I think that's the end goal of digital transformation. And if you compare that with the reality of most financial institutions, is that they have a very fragmented IT landscape with dozens and dozens of legacy applications that typically operate in silos. And that silo architecture really is very problematic. One, it is very expensive, but secondly, it cannot orchestrate as one because it is fragmented. And therefore, most of the banks, I think that's really the heart of digital transformation. How do you move digital to the core, and how do you step by step replace those legacy silo applications and move them into a single modern orchestration platform that can really create value for the end customer and for the bank in pretty much real time? One platform.
Okay, so how does Backbase actually help the incumbent banks really accelerate their digital transformation?
Typically, a digital transformation program is very, it's a big endeavor, right? It's almost like feeling like boiling an ocean. So what we typically do is we look at the bank and we kind of create a value map. And let me just briefly explain the value map. The value map is, for instance, you have the retail business line. And in retail, you have all these processes that help you with customer onboarding. Then you have other processes that help you with cross and upselling. So you basically do the expand your share of wallet, so the origination, e-commerce side of the bank. And then you move into all the operations where people can do self-service, like in mobile and online banking. So all these different processes, they are somewhat great or not great. They are somewhat digital or none. So what we typically do with the bank, we say, where do you have the biggest pain in one of these processes, and where do you have the biggest gain? And then we can start there. And when we start to kind of digitize one of those areas, as an example, credit card onboarding in retail banking or small business lending in the business banking side of the world, you can start anywhere on that map within the bank. And we can say we start there, but we're going to do this with a common platform that if you do this well, from there you can expand into other processes and into other product groups. And therefore then, by doing so, you're not creating yet another silo, but you're kind of doing it on a common global footprint, the Backbase digital banking platform that is universally. And in that platform, you have these, it's almost like the Amazon, the AWS of banking. It has all these core capabilities, for instance, access control, entitlements, limits, notifications, alerts, payments, behavioral tracking, targeting, campaigns, audience management. Those are kind of the platform capabilities. And in all these processes, you can utilize those capabilities to make a seamless customer journey.
Many banks maybe feel as though they're throwing a lot of money at the digital transformation journey. How do you think banks can really improve their return on investment today?
We see quite a few banks that basically still bring the old mindset, the traditional mindset of waterfall, dozens of stakeholders to the party to execute their digital transformation program. And I think that is the biggest roadblock in not being efficient. So what we've seen working really well is to kind of get away with kind of all the overhead with all these stakeholders and go back to a more lean kind of approach where you have dedicated squads with dedicated product owners. So less is more, very focused, lean teams that execute with direct connection with the senior executives. So you have a very nice collaboration between senior directors that really kind of give the strategic landscape and direct dialogue with an execution squad. So I think that's kind of the number one thing, is basically unlearn the classic, more bloated way of working and kind of adopting and being mentally committed to a more hands-on, leaner, agile execution model.
Well, thank you so much for your insight, Jouk.
You're welcome. Thank you.